Hi everybody, the vinyl community, John here again. This is my second video of the year, I believe, and it's going to be sort of a vinyl finds and acquisitions, because I've got one or two that I sort of picked up and it would be nice to show. After this I plan to do the prog tag, so look out for that one. Right, so in the background I'm listening to Thin Lizzy, Nightlife. It's a record I've had for a long time, and I must admit I've never really paid it much attention. You know, compared to the sort of the Thin Lizzy catalogue, it's kind of sort of rock light, I would say, and I've never really had an awful lot of patience for it. I've always felt a little bit sort of underwhelmed by it. Doesn't have that oomph that you perhaps would like to hear in a sort of a hard rock record. And well, I've kind of recently revisited for good reason, and that will become apparent when I show you the first record, my new records so far. So this was, I think, the first purchase of this year for me. This is the Thin Lizzy acoustic sessions. I first became aware of this when I saw, I think it was Rob Ison put it up on a Facebook post, and when I saw it, my eyes popped out of my head. Oh, a new Thin Lizzy album? How can that be? So basically, what it is, it's I think there's one or two sort of unreleased tracks on here that sort of remained in the acoustic sort of stage, but also I think they've isolated some Phil Lynnett's vocal tracks, and Eric Bell has re-recorded acoustic versions of the song to go along with his isolated vocals, and it's just a beautiful record. Like I said, I think the first purchase this year, and unless I get bowled over by anything else that I buy this year, it's going to be probably the record of the year for me. And this came out early last year, but for some reason I hadn't heard of it, and it's really good. I'm definitely going to do a needle drop of this, and it's just so sumptuous because Phil Lynott, he was such a great songwriter, and these songs are, you know, the way they're presented here are just stunning. I recommend this to anyone that likes Thin Lizzy. And that brings me to this record. Yeah, so because it's acoustic, you know, it focuses mainly on Phil's vocals and the sort of the song structures and things. And I thought, well, I'll give this one a go then. And again, to see, you know, well, rather than wanting to hear that heavy hard rock sound that doesn't really quite appear on this record, just enjoy the sort of the songs and Phil's vocals. And so I've done it, and it actually has unlocked this record for me. I mean, I've had this, what, 20, 30 years, I suppose, and never really given it much attention. Whereas now it's interchangeable with my new Lizzy record on the turntable. Sort of, it's spun quite a lot just in the past week or so. Another record that I bought just recently is this. This is Colosseum II. It's their second album. I've seen people on the VC show this, and I've often wondered. I've got the first Colosseum II album with Gary Moore, and it's very well, Gary Moore's presence is very sort of strongly felt. He's on this one, but he doesn't seem to be quite so much in your face Gary Moore, if you like. The rest of the band shine through well. It's all instrumental and well, more or less. And it's not a bad record. Still listening to it, still getting into it. So we'll see where this one takes me. Great record anyway. You know, occasionally I waste parts of my life watching videos that Andy Edmunds puts up. I mean, some of them you know, you just have to see them to believe them. He made a video recently talking about Deep Purple. I think it was talking about Deep Purple live albums and things. And he spoke at long length about this. Apparently this was his first Deep Purple album. And therefore, because it's his first, he has a sort of particular fondness for it. And he was talking, sort of picking up this record. It's a double album. And he, in his view, it's better than Live in Japan, and that's his view. And yeah, he sort of, you know, expressed that quite strongly. And I thought, well, I don't have that. It's a Deep Purple album I don't have. I'll get that. And yeah, it is pretty good. Although I will say, I bought it fairly cheaply off Discogs, and I will say it leaves a little bit to be desired. The quality, you know, well, I didn't pay much for it. It's on Harvest, but there are a few scuffs and marks on it. This one isn't too bad, but the second one is particularly nasty, and it even jumps in a few places. And you don't expect that, do you? When you buy something off Discogs, you don't expect it to jump. I haven't cleaned it yet, so I'm hoping that when I clean it up, it will perhaps get past those jumps on the second record, because you know, it makes you wonder, doesn't it, if you want to keep hold of it, if it's going to jump. So that's Deep Purple in concert. The next CD I'm going to show is some VCLT that I received from James Griffiths. Thank you very much, James, for sending this. Anyone that's been watching my videos knows, you know, I don't know how many Bob Dylan albums I picked up towards sort of the latter half of last year, but I did, and I didn't go out looking for them. They just kept on presenting themselves to me at a price that I was happy to pay for, you know. So that was really cool. And James sent me this, saying that as Jimi Hendrix posthumous albums go, this is one that he rates very highly. I thought I should give it a go, give it a listen. And yeah, so People, Hell and Angels. It is, as I understand it, it's sort of modelled after what they think Jimi Hendrix's album would have been like, sort of the follow-up to Electric Ladyland. And I don't know, I haven't read enough about that to know, but I will say this, that this has got a very definite groove to it. You know, sometimes when you listen to reggae music, reggae albums, you get that kind of steady groove going through it that you kind of it carries you through the whole album. It's kind of mesmerizes you a little bit. There's definitely a groove in this. A lot of the tracks are very similar tempo, and they sort of chug along very nicely. I don't know if that's what he was aiming for, but yeah, it's a nice album. I'll do a little bit of a needle drop of this anyway, or a laser drop. Jimi Hendrix. Thanks so much, James, for sending that. Brilliant. Some more 60s music here. This is one that I picked up recently. It's The Animals, the first album by The Animals, simply called The Animals. It's in mono. And yeah, it's a nice record. Columbia. So come out in '64. Of course, The Animals, quite an important band, British invasion band, and I think I expected this album to be a bit more raw and sort of rough and ready than it actually is. It's actually quite polished, which surprised me. But it's a good record of the time. Yeah, they had a bit of a checkered past, didn't they? Sort of different splits, and Eric Burden going off doing his own thing, and Chas Chandler being involved in all sorts of other projects and things. Great album. Here's another record that I got just this weekend. It's the second Osabisa album, called Wuyaya. I've got the first one, and I've always quite fancied getting the second one, and yeah, this popped up for a relatively good price in a local bookshop close to where I live. They've got a sort of section of records. Don't go in there very often because there's not a lot of customers go in there, so there's not such a big turnover. But this was in there, and I snapped it up, and it's where I got the Animals album too. I mean, it's not that different from the first album. I don't think it's quite as radical as the first album. I don't think I'll be looking out for the third album by then. But it's great to have in the collection. Of course, fantastic Roger Dean cover. So have a look at that. Okay, so I've been to the Cardiff Record Exchange again recently. Picked up some very reasonably priced records. I even come away with a few cheap free ones too. I'll clean up. This was a record that I got from there. So it's a compilation of Dave Edmunds and the Love Sculpture. 1968 to 1972, so it's his very early work, and yeah, it's actually quite. I mean, you know, he's always been sort of rock and roll based, isn't he? Sort of a big fan of the 50s music style, and sort of he brings that in his music. He's still alive, surprisingly. Sorry, Dave, I didn't mean to be rude, but you know, you're kind of a living legend, and yeah, I guess you must be retired by now. But so yeah, it's a great record, and there are some interesting cuts on here where he really goes to town. I mean, he's quite an incredible guitarist. Um, I didn't know that. You know, I know his work sort of from his 70s period, and this is a lot of this is from before that time. But very much got both feet rooted in the rock and roll music that he so much enjoyed. Another record I got from the Cardiff Record Exchange. I paid a couple of quid for this. So John Mayall, The Blues Alone, mono. It's on the Ace of Clubs label. Yeah, John Mayall. I mean, I've got quite a few of his records now. Very important man. Had a huge effect on the British blues. And this is an incredible compilation for sale. Manfred Mann. Semi-detached suburban. Details available on request. I've got one or two compilations by Manfred Mann of their earlier hits, and I don't suppose there's anything on this that doesn't appear on those. But what I liked about this was that it's like, yeah, it's an EMI issue, and yeah, there you go, EMI, and it's sort of an original issue from back in the day. I think the other ones I've got are probably MFP or something like that. This plays beautifully, really good. I mean, and yeah, the lovely thing about these old records is that they really do sound gorgeous. Not much nicer than the modern pressings. Yeah, there's so many great tracks on here. I won't read them out, but definitely a really good compilation, that. Let me tell you about the Manfreds, the music that they're putting down. They started to play on a rainy day, and the people came from miles around. They didn't come for the rhythm, they didn't come for the beat. The people of the town came just to stand around and see the singer looking the last record I'm going to show is one that arrived in the post today. I've just listened to it once and it's good. It is a prog album. The Tale of Father Robin, State of Nature. I've been thinking about this for a long time. I've sort of stepped back a little bit from progressive rock recently. Just haven't had the attention span. I had sort of other things going on in my mind and struggled to really sort of invest much time and energy into listening to progressive rock music, which is fair enough if you're going to be listening to music that you already know, because you don't need to kind of get your head around it. But new progressive rock, to me, is something that I've just ducked and dived for a few months now. But I thought, well, maybe it's time. Maybe it's time I sort of gave this one a go. And so I'm looking forward to, getting to know this album. Got it from Bandcamp, which means I got the MP3 album too, which I can listen to on my little MP3 player when I walk the dogs. I'm sure it won't take long for me to get into this. And this is the first in a trilogy of 3 albums. So if I like this, then I will definitely be picking up the second and third. Okay, everybody, that's all from me today. Hope everybody's doing well. Look out for my entry or my contribution to the prog tag coming your way soon. Thanks. Check out my next video. Bye.